That sounds good. I like having one-way conversations with people where they can't hear the other side of it. Don't worry, it's boring. Man, we got our guy Logan, who set up the entire court, and he is a masseuse for hire tonight. So if you see Logan walking around, you never know. Very strong hands. Volleyball fans, at this time, would you please stand, if able, and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem, performed tonight by Southern California native Arissa Nicole. Thank you, Arissa Nicole.
Beach volleyball was invented in Hawaii, but its roots are in Southern California. Tonight, the league comes home. Play all day, watch the pros all night. The sparkling new Intuit Dome Beach has taken shape. The lights and music are up, and so are San Diego and LA. Welcome in the smash and the launch as we get started with a Friday night here in night number one of our LA stop in the AVP League. Hi, everybody. Kevin Barnett alongside Olympian Rich Lamborn. Rich, very interesting journey for the San Diego Smash, who come out on the women's side tonight. Gigi Rango is her third partner in Devin Newberry. If you're coaching them, how do you approach this brand new partnership midseason?
Well, I think the key is to try and lean into what you identify your strengths to be. Right, on paper, they're a good matchup. Devin Newberry, great blocker. Gina Urango, great defender. But that's kind of how all beach volleyball partnerships are comprised. We put it together on paper. Then we got to see if the chemistry and all the intangibles work out once we hit the sand. So that's kind of what we're looking for tonight.
All right, we'll watch to see how that partnership develops as they get started. This is how the season has developed to this point. LA came out 4-0. Last time we saw them was down in San Diego. We don't have a ton of information necessarily on the Los Angeles teams. San Diego, we've seen them quite a bit.
Yeah, we have, but we haven't seen them in this form. So it's kind of a new go-around for this squad. As you mentioned, it's her third partner, Gina Urango. And so looking to kind of get some traction quickly here with new partner Devin Newberry.
Previously in San Diego, Gina Urango went 0-2. That medical retirement with a dislocated arm for Tony Rodriguez ended the first match. Then she played alongside Abby Van Winkle and ended up losing in 3. A fine effort against this LA Launch team. So this is a rematch kind of evening here inside the Intuit Dome as Mark Sherman gets ready to bring the players out on the sand. We'll take a look at each one of these pairings tonight. Now here's a big note is that you've gone 3 in each one of these previous matches. We're expecting a tough one here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Meg and Therese on the other side of the net, very polished as a team. They play all over the world together, just got back from Europe, and so they've got a lot of chemistry. They've got a lot of game planning, and all aspects of their game are pretty dialed, and so it is a pretty tall task here for the Smash, but let's see what they can do.
Devin Newberry steps in at 24 years old, already extremely experienced as an athlete, playing bigger than her 5'10" stature. For the LA Launch, Therese Cannon, a last league match, excellent numbers.
Yeah, they, like I said, very polished team. Megan Kraft, probably our top young player in the United States, switching from block her whole career in college to now one of our best defenders in the United States. And Therese Cannon, we know, is big at the net, really impactful.
So Meg Kraft is going to come out the most talented young defender in the USA, a killer in transition with a military-style work ethic. Her ability to score separates her and wins matches. This is her partner coming out, Therese Cannon, who does it for Olympic dreams and a love of country.
And a 6-foot defender also out of UFC, it's Megan Kraft.
There is Meg Kraft out of nearby San Diego. Best AVP Heritage finish is a second back in Huntington Beach earlier this year. Two-time national champion at USC, not far away from where we are tonight in Inglewood, California, part of the broader LA County encompassing 10 million people.
Yeah, she's, you know, one of those players who's been such a phenom for so long. Got international experience while she was even still in college, you know, so she really hit the sand running professionally, so to speak, once she left SC.
We saw her in AVP events before she was out of high school.
Yeah.
So Gina Urango, perhaps playing the best volleyball of her career now at the age of 35. Her adaptable excellence will be needed tonight. Tough serve to start. This is Kraft, and she'll find a lot of room down the line.
Yeah, it's a nice out-of-system set, so to speak. Gina Urango going to have to be impactful from the service line, right? That's a big weapon for the team of Urango and Newberry on the side of the San Diego Smash.
They'll go at Newberry right away, playing that left-hand side. Her partner will chip. It's picked up. Kraft, and she can be so good in transition. Newberry steps back and says, not this time.
Newberry.
I like that, a little bit of creativity from Newberry right out of the gate.
Devin Newberry back to serve.
Two-time All-Pac-12 performer with longtime partner Jaden Whitmarsh. We're very close to qualifying for league play with Jaden. That deep float serve will find Cannon in trouble as we join our other member of the group, Cameron Irwin, down on the sand. Hi, Cam.
Hey guys, the first question I asked Devin Newberry is, well, how are your nerves heading into this? Your first AVP League match. She told me the nerves actually kicked in last night, so she made one phone call to her coach and mentor, Taryn Lascascio, and said, there was one message. This is your moment. You are prepared for this. And the mantra for her tonight is telling herself, I'm ready to go, and she's got the support of Gina and Tony right next to her.
Love that. Did she call her mom too, Cam? That's the other question. How many times did you call mom yesterday?
Yeah, her mom's her best friend. She says there's about 6 or 7 phone calls a day, and you can guarantee that the entire Newberry clan is right here in the Intuit Center.
All right, well, Mom, no calls right now as your daughter laces one wrist down.
Yeah, no sign of nerves on that tattooing.
We're playing best 2 out of 3 sets.
Yeah, Newberry only 5'10". She said she takes a lot of inspiration from the Brazilian side of the game, and that's true. Innumerable finals Brazilians are all 5'10", not a player over 6 foot, and dominating. Big step in here and a big block by Newberry. You said she brought that to the game.
Yeah, that's a really nice move. You can see that set kind of fall short for Megan Kraft, and Therese has to go get it. Newberry follows it, good handwork into the angle. Really great read there, and yeah, she does play a lot bigger, I think, than her 5'10" stature at the net.
Again, serving that middle spot. It's working. Kraft with nobody up. She'll take advantage. Yeah, Meg Kraft wouldn't leave a lot of open net for the 6-footer. Now 22 years old, out of San Diego, California. Also went to USC.
Well, if you're taking your cues from Brazilian volleyball, you're going to see that a lot. The pole dig attempts, you know, tactical kind of pulls rather than situational pulls.
Tough short serve. Newberry, little slide, and that one's long.
Yeah, good aggressive swing, which I like. I like the mentality there. Just kind of missing the mark a bit.
Kraft, a preposterous 6 digs per set. Now, they've only played 2 matches. Those are early numbers, but that is gnarly performance defensively. She slides out of the way of that one.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a miss, maybe timing-wise from Therese. You can see her kind of apologize coming down. Just a touch tardy going into that angle. Gina with a nice snap past the block.
Newberry on cannon once again. This will be on 2 from Kraft, right to the back corner.
Yeah, just so smooth. Really good decision there, and the key to those option plays is being proactive, right? You can't be indecisive. You go in with the right mindset. Key to success at that play.
This pairing now in its 2nd year is actually a combination of 2 blockers who both played left side before they got together. That one is ripped. Kraft with the dig. She's way off the net. What will she do? Trying to put Newberry in trouble. She's having none of it until it goes wide over the top of cannon.
Yeah, in that first play, you saw kind of a tactical pull this time from the LA launch. Therese kind of dropping into that angle early. Meg sliding over the line side and getting rewarded.
Little 4-1 sprint run here for the launch. Newberry, big deliberate move to her left, and she'll chip it again just wide. A little bit off to start here, and the launch continue a 5-1 run.
Yeah, good defensive move from Megan Kraft, right in position, and then kind of follows that one to the line, letting it get wide.
The launch defeated the Dream, DeBerg and Harward, and then the San Diego Smash, Urango and Van Winkle at that point in their previous league appearance. We're going to see a lot of them here in the second half of the season. Nice dig by Kraft. She's under it. Can she put it away? She'll take a crack at it. Not yet. Newberry, she'll crack one, and that works. Couple of big swings.
Yeah, really big swings both sides. Devin Newberry with that good aggressive cross-body swing to finish it off. I think she's got to stay in that mindset, Kev. A couple of these shots not really working out. Slash, Therese and Meg are making nice reads.
Yeah, I don't believe at any level you can tip, roll, jam your way to a title.
Right.
Even beach, you're going to have to heat it up. There's a nice one. That is a good shot from Cannon. As we'll take the side switch at 8-6 now, the lead for LA.
Yeah, just a note of kind of clarification on that last point that I think we both made. Doesn't mean you have to swing away at everything, but you do have to be aggressive in your kind of approach.
Don't get timid as the sets get down to the end, or as matches get down to the end, or titles.
And certainly don't be indecisive at any point.
Another short serve. Newberry, good footwork, and she will again put some heat on it.
Yeah, particularly in that instance where they're trying to neutralize some of your physicality with the short serve. Go up and just, you know, I mean, even if only have that one-step drop, tee off.
Well, if Devin Newberry needed a little motivation, it's that she's fighting against 3 Trojans right now. A city divided, UCLA and USC. There are 3 Trojans with a host of national titles out here. Devin Newberry is the only Bruin. She'll make the call here. Big jump into the angle, but her partner can't quite get to the line. Launch for the point.
Yeah, good defensive setup. Attempted anyways from the San Diego Smash. Timing such an important piece of this particular defensive setup. You can see Newberry a little bit early into that angle, so it's kind of an easy read for Therese Cannon.
So you want to hold there and make it a shot down the line for your partner to get rather than a full swing?
Yeah. I mean, it's such a fine line you're walking out there timing-wise, right? You're trying to crouch, get out of the line of sight of the attacker, and not give away your position too early, because the peripheral vision of all these players is just so good.
Missed there by Jeannie Urango.
Launch hitting 455 to the smash, 182 right now, which is a pretty good indicator of how dialed Meg and Therese are offensively, and they kind of force the timeout.
Yeah, 11-8, one timeout per team per set. Opportunity to regroup here for San Diego as we're in the waning moments of set number 1.
Well, everybody, welcome to the Intuit Dome. My name's Mark. DJ Rouchet spinning the tunes. We got producer
Devin Newberry. Good start in terms of kills for her with 4. 3 errors for her side, though kind of hurting the numbers. But first match working her way in. A very vocal Gina Urango here. Let's look at our women's standings. Brasher and Nuss off to an excellent start there for the Austin Aces. Cannon and Kraft, by virtue of being undefeated, are listed in second. We're going to learn a lot more about them this weekend.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, it's kind of like when you got those half games behind in baseball because you haven't played quite as many as your opponents yet. So we'll find out, like you said, what Cannon and Kraft look like at the end of this weekend. But so far, so good in this one.
Danneberg and Donlin, perhaps the most surprising and electric pair to watch there for the Blaze in at 5-1. We're only going to see them one more time. Everybody's going to play 8 times, and the top 6 are on to Chicago for the championships at the end of August. We're looking forward to seeing who slots in. LA Launch, maybe an early favorite coming off their first weekend.
Well, yeah, I mean, undefeated. They're at home here looking to put on a good performance for their home crowd. In San Diego a few weeks back, they were electric, I think we would say.
Well, San Diego now at a 1-3 overall position, but this was their spot last year. Halfway through, you thought, hey, their season's probably over. They're not looking too good. All the way to the championship and took the title.
Yeah, the ultimate carrot dangle in our inaugural season by the San Diego Smash.
That's right. In that case, the league would be the donkey.
We were all on the treadmill chasing it.
Go right side here. Big swing over, and going back the other way is Newberry.
Yeah, again, really nice aggressive mindset, getting a little motion, trying to make Therese move on the block, and then abusing the top of the hands there. Here's another look.
Yeah, she's come out with that aggressive mindset. You like that, Coach Lamborn?
I really do. And again, that doesn't mean always you have to swing, but a decisive choice is better than kind of an indecisive approach to anything, I think, even if you're wrong here and there.
Newberry again, she's been the target here. Cannon got a touch. Nice little connection there. 2 in a row for the launch. Staying in the point. Urango, rare opportunity. And you see why.
The little baby cut. Great touch. Here's a look at this final kill shot. That is pretty because Meg Kraft is in the right area. Varying the depths of your shots, so important.
The only Gina, G-E-N-A, in the history of beach volleyball serves up an overpass for her partner to feast on.
Yeah, very timely serve from Gina Urango. We talked about what a weapon that is and needs to be for the San Diego Smash, and she'll force the timeout from the launch.
Yeah, now at 12-11, Launch watching their lead just evaporate here in our first match of 4 on the evening from the Intuit Dome. That would be the IDB, the Intuit Dome Beach. That will be hosting us tonight and tomorrow night. Looking forward to a ton of action. This evening, we have the Smash taking on the Launch, as well as Palm Beach, the Passion taking on the Miami Mayhem. Thanks for being with us live right now. You can catch the action on CBS Sports Network coming up later tonight, live as the Passion and Mayhem will face off in both the men's and the women's program. Cannon and Kraft, Cannon 29, Kraft 22. They definitely are looking for a 2028 here in LA. That is the stated goal, is the Olympics together.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our women's side of the sport right now is so deep. You have to credit the NCAA, you know, the program that so many of these athletes are coming through, all 4 of these athletes. Nuss and Brasher, Donlin, And Denneberg, like we talked about, you know, the whole top of the table is groomed through the NCAA system, you know, and so that will be, with only 2 spots available, a highly coveted and a very, I don't know what you want to call it, hard-fought spot to get.
It's amazing what millions of dollars of investment will do at the collegiate level to produce talent, cultivate it, coach it, and have it arrive in the pro ranks ready to dominate, as Kraft does on that one, going between the 2 defenders.
There again, that's kind of a tactical pull. They've done it a couple times on Meg Kraft, which, as you mentioned, a wide open net, a good set, and Meg Kraft not really a recipe for defensive success a lot.
Newberry, left side, needing this one, goes right to Kraft. Joust at the net, Newberry sets her partner. Gina Urango with a head of steam puts that one away.
I mean, we're getting some pretty big fireworks here offensively from both sides of the net. These ladies teeing off. Really good control there from Newberry. In the second contact.
In need of one here. Good serve. Lots of action on that floater. The strategic pull doesn't work again.
Got it right off.
I will say, I like that decision from Newberry. It doesn't work out for the smash there, but she was in no position to get in front of that as a blocker, right? So she just pulls and tries to play some defense. So doing something for your team better than doing nothing, of course. And you made a good choice.
Set point, launch. Little inside, maybe a miscommunication there, dealt with deftly.
Yeah, that's a couple that I've seen that have kind of gone a little wider, it looks like, than Newberry's expecting, but those are kind of the growing pains of a new partnership, and Newberry doing a nice job dealing with those. Great swing across the body for the kill.
Second opportunity to close for the launch. Cannon, will she swing for it? Yes. Dug up by Urango. But too tight, her partner almost had it.
I mean, that is a tremendous play from all players involved. What a scoop from Gina Urango, but for Megan Kraft to swing at that ball, unbelievable, and Newberry was so close to getting that stuff.
Excellence displayed on both sides. 15-13 the result. We're headed for set number 2.
Just hanging out. These are nice. So, all right, so.
A little magic. How about a little magic, huh?
Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Refreshing and goes down smooth. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
Back inside this gorgeous new arena, the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California, part of the SoFi Stadium area of redevelopment, and a beautiful facility opened just under a year ago. Stats in our first set, LA hitting .412. They continue to be torrid offensively.
Yeah, but that's, you know, kind of the first time we talked about the stats. That is a slide backwards a little bit from them and a step up from the San Diego Smash. So the second half of that first set was really good from the Smash. They started to find a little bit of their rhythm, settled into some comfort, I think. So this second set could be pretty competitive, as the end of the first set was.
19 attempts for the Smash in that first set, 15 of which went to Devin Newberry. Welcome to the league.
Yeah, absolutely. But she really steadied out as well, because again, we talked about her having 4 kills and 3 errors. She ended that set with only those same 3 errors. So she really steadied out and was very aggressive offensively, which served them well.
So a brand new team in at 1 and 3 with a little bit of work to do. Played well in the second half of that. Angela Benson, their coach, with a little bit of last second advice, and they've been winning some close matches, have the San Diego smash when they have won. A lot of close sets in the league this year.
We've kind of come to expect that, right, in these sets to 15. Just right as teams are kind of feeling one another out, they get to the kind of the crunch time, the business end of the set, and all of a sudden it's over. So you do end up with those deuce sets a lot, it feels like.
Yeah, we had one in the first. We'll see if the launch can do anything about it in the second. They own a 15-8, a 15-9, a pair of 15-11s in their first 2 matches, so they've been fairly dominant at times. Another short serve, that one extremely short, and this time it's a roll right to the corner.
Yeah, but again, decisive from Newberry. Does a nice job to get to that short serve and then just kind of strokes it confidently to the corner.
Cannon reaches to her right. Her partner will reach and put that one short in front of Urango. San Diego, with that 15-13 loss in set 1, continues their streak of being defeated in the first set. They've been playing from behind every match this year.
It's generally the streak you're looking to put up on the stat sheet.
Deep corner serve. Newberry will fight that one off. Here's a little push. She gets into it. And that one looked like tempo, location was all on point.
Well, it's good, you know, fighting off that sort of short, deep game from a service reception standpoint, not easy. Devin Newberry doing a nice job with it thus far and kind of staying wide, you know, how she had to receive it and just kind of went with what she was given.
Newberry misses that one, but now let's check in with Cameron Irwin.
Yeah, guys, I caught up with Angela Benson, who's coaching the San Diego Smash. I asked her what she saw in that first set, and her first comment was, well, the sand is rather shallow, so it's really jumpy. And instead of it being about the offense, it's more about the defense. They want to take a little extra time as blockers up at the net. They have gotten the LA launch out of system, but watch for them to be a little bit more aggressive, even when the opposing team is out of system with their blocking schemes. Guys?
Thanks, Cam. A little turn here. Newberry will reset for that block. Now she'll pull and be hit at by Kraft.
I like the pull, though that set is off the net. Meg's in a little bit of a compromised position. So Newberry just kind of drops into the defensive zone, but Meg just has a nice swing up the middle to beat it.
Keep saying you like the pull, but we have yet to see, I think, a successful dig in the pull.
I think a few of them have been early. You know, I like the tactics of kind of mixing up the looks, but timing's so important. And yeah, I mean, that's just a tremendous serve from Meg Kraft, kind of a screwball right up the middle.
Yeah, 6 aces. She averages 3 aces a match, does Kraft. Get Cameron's perspective down on the sand as another confrontation at the net happens. That is a short shot to the short side of the net.
Well, and to jump in here, you guys were just talking about the need to stay at the net versus pulling off the net. And actually the tendency of Devin Newberry, because she's more of an undersized blocker, is to pull off. We spoke to her this week and she said, hey, getting into league play, I realize everyone's a little bit more aggressive. I'm going to have to play bigger than that 5'10" frame, and she earns one right there. And again, Devin Newberry trying to stay as big as she can up at the net, guys.
Nice little layoff there too with the bump set. Good control for Gina to go get the field goal. 4-4, San Diego getting even.
Yeah, particularly if you are, you know, I mean, we put undersized in quotes because she's 5'10". It's not like she's miniature up there. But timing becomes all the more important in kind of all your movements. She does a nice job on the joust there to recover the ball and keep it on her side. Gets the put away in transition.
Been impressed with a touch in the last couple of attacks from Devin Newberry.
Yeah, particularly on these plays, that's so hard as a blocker. You can see that momentum all kind of goes into her, and then she's got to back up and control that ball, which she does beautifully, and then just knocks it over the top.
Tough serve from her partner, Urango. She'll play in the angle, but it's the block that carries the point. Play big.
That was all smash from the beginning. A tremendous pass on a tough serve from Megan Kraft, but you're playing catch-up from that point, right? When you have to hit the sand and get up and you're in hurry-up mode, and then that just fed right into the block of Devin Newberry.
Devin Newberry has LA using their timeout early in this second set at 6-4. Yeah, that'll put a big smile on your face when you get a stuffed block like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned the quality of the shots early in this second set and then adding stuff blocks to the mix. You're gonna feel good as you're trying to settle in a new partnership.
Yeah, Devin Newberry still targeted 5 attempts so far. Her partner just 1, but she has 3 kills. As we look at our remaining schedule for the year, next week we'll be back in New York City. We're going coast to coast. Central Park Wilderman Rink will be our host, and we'll be in Austin and Dallas before we finish out at the traditional end for AVP League in Chicago.
Yeah, find me a city on that list that isn't amazing, Kev.
I'm just thinking of all the restaurants we're going to visit, all the meals we're going to have. Velvet Tacos in Chicago being one.
The rest of us will be focusing on the volleyball. Kevin's on a culinary tour of the United States.
That's right. See if I get a show on the Food Network. All right, 5 digs apiece. That's good news for San Diego here. Gina will continue to try and play defense against Meg Kraft. Will not get that one. A little high arcer into the angle.
Yeah, starts with a good pass, but I like that little offensive wrinkle too. Kind of a push set of sorts, so it's harder for Newberry to pick off the contact point. And you know, everything kind of stays in front of Meg Kraft there. She sees the open court and the cross easily, excuse me, Kevin. I know you're a stickler for grammar.
That ball goes long. I thought that last replay too was a good look at Newberry getting out of the sight of the hitter, going super low on the block.
Right, such a critical piece of blocking on the beach is that deceptiveness.
Kraft jump set. Oh, right to Gina Urango. She's waiting on that one. Here's a back step her way, and she'll work off the hands of Cannon. 8-5, San Diego stretching their legs.
Yeah, as we heard from Cam, Coach Benson wanted to focus on their defensive setups quite a bit, and that's what we're seeing here thus far in the second for the San Diego Smash. They're looking good defensively, scheme-wise.
Launch got the first couple of points. Now it's San Diego with a 6-1 run to open up now to 8-5. Newberry, serve to block. Working on Cannon. Channeling right to her partner, who misses wide.
Yeah, that's such a bummer because it's such a good dig from Urango. Just lined that up perfectly from Cannon. Scooped it right into her partner's lap.
Opportunity lost there. I mean, 9-5 is control of the set, right? 6-8, anybody's opportunity.
Yeah, this is a critical point.
Newberry again with some excellent control, and this time gets a hold of it on the pole, but does not control it.
The reason I was saying critical point, Kev, one of the things when I was coaching that I like to pay attention to is how frequently we missed a scoring opportunity, as the Smash just did on the previous play, and then gave up a reel. Because you mentioned it, 9-5 is much, much different than 8-6, and now it's 8-7, so it's kind of this big 3-point swing in a matter of minutes.
Newberry, she'll find the very edge of the line that time. She continues to exercise that shoulder that gave her trouble in school. Had to miss parts of seasons with a shoulder injury. Showed us her shoulder subluxation. Oh, something to not see, actually.
Yeah, I'll skip that.
I'm trying to unsee it. But healthy enough to take big cuts here. Can she get another big block? She'll jump to the right. Nice pogo move, but it's over the top and down.
For a long time, I thought subluxation is when you own an apartment and you rent out one of your rooms.
You must have gone to the Johnny Bench School of Understanding Words. Newberry, quick pass into swing. Controlled by Cannon, but not the second time. They've hit double digits. San Diego 10-8.
Yeah, I like the confidence that the Smash are showing, though. A little bit of an offensive wrinkle. You could see Newberry coming in for quicker tempo on that set. Therese knocked back the first one, but she's right there for the option on the recycle.
Opportunity here for San Diego to grab control. Cannon will work to that right side and again down the line. Yeah,
I kind of chalk those types of plays up to the ongoing chess game. right? Because Gina, like, everything looks like the big part of the court available to Cannon is cross body from where she's at. So that's where Gina's set up, you know, and if that play comes along a couple points from now, I bet you Gina runs that same line shot down.
There's another great cut right down in front of Kraft.
11-9.
So LA looking like they might go 3 here if they can't slow down the offense of the smash. Mentioned that Cannon and Kraft got together just last year at the beginning of the year to play together as blockers who played the same side. Turns out they had a lot of other similarities. They're both accounting majors. As that ball is blocked by Newberry. And they both have twin sisters. They're probably twins on the side of the LA launch. As this big stuff block has San Diego again in control.
Yeah, love that move too. Again, that deep crouch and then just excellent timing into the cross court.
Newberry again in front of that one. 4 in a row. 13-9.
She'll take credit for that. It looked like it kind of slipped off the knuckles of Megan Kraft trying to go over on 2 with it, but Newberry right in position either way.
Ace serve now from Urango. Trying to bring a quick end to this second set.
Yeah, they had that moment that we kind of highlighted, Kev, where they missed that transition opportunity, and we wondered if that might let the LA launch back in this set, and not to be, says Gina and Devin.
Yeah, set point number 1 goes by there. Set point 2 will come in the side out phase of the game here with a nice pad to close this one out and go 3.
Tremendous resolve from this new partnership, the side of the San Diego Smash.
Well, that's what the Smash do. They lose the first and they stretch you out in the second. Cannon with the set in the offing here. Gina will take it herself and put it away. We're going 3.
Again, really decisive choice from Gina Urango. That's not easy as a right-hander to kind of let that ball come across your body and go with the option, but she does it beautifully.
Gina Urango said of this switch, she said, I welcome the adversity. How can I bring out the best in my partner is the question, and this is something I've tried to embody my entire career. Well, she's ready for this moment as they work their way into the set in the first. Played some good volleyball and then dominated the latter half of the second to send us to a third. Let's go to Cam with a special guest.
She is absolutely a special guest. Joining me now, Tony Rodriguez, and your San Diego Smash picking up the second set. A different position for you now, sitting on the sidelines, but what is your impression of Devin Newberry so far?
I just think she's a baller. When Gina came to me asking, you know, my opinion on who she should play with, and we looked at the list, I thought Devin was a great option. She brings the fire, she brings the passion, and she's a baller.
Speaking of ballers, you're one of the best on the sand. Give us a little update on your recovery and where you're at your timeline.
So I'm doing really well. I'm 3 weeks post-op, and I'll be out for a little while, but I'm looking forward to next season.
You know what? I can guarantee all of us are looking forward to next season as well. So heading into the third set, what's your biggest piece of advice for anybody when you're dealing with a little bit of nerves? This is it. You get 15 points to go. What's the mentality like?
Think less. Think less. Keep the ball on the court and put the pressure on them, because that's exactly what it is.
All right, I'm getting one from the producer here because they want to know how your nurse was. Because who was your nurse?
My nurse was Kim Schulk. He was a very good nurse, but tonight he'll be playing, so he had to switch roles really quick. But yeah, he was a great nurse.
All right, well, maybe he's up for hire. Who knows, guys?
All right, a little fun there for Tony Rodriguez as she's on the road to recovery with that right arm. We'll look forward to seeing her back out on the sand next year sometime.
If I sit next to her on a plane, I get the armrest, right? She's traveling with her own.
Depends on what seat you're in, Rich. Depends. All right, strategy here. So if you're San Diego, you've kind of been on a roll through end of the first, into the second, controlled much of that action. What about for the launch as we look at stats through 2?
Yeah, I don't know that there's a tremendous strategic shift that needs to take place. It's just a matter of execution. I think the LA launch were a little bit loose in their serve receive, and of course credit the Smash service pressure for a lot of that, right? But if they settle into their side out game the way they're accustomed to playing, that serves them well, because that's precisely what we saw from this match in the second, as you see by those numbers, hitting 455. And you had a stat up just a second ago. Devin Newberry, we talked about, started 4 kills, 3 errors, hasn't had one since, and 9 kills on top of it. So she is extremely steady for her squad in her first AVP League match, and is playing some beautiful volleyball, as is Gina Urango. Her serving has caught a little bit of fire, and that bodes well for the San Diego Smash in this third if they can keep that going.
Devin Newberry, to the delight of the Los Angeles audience, 13 of 25, with those 3 errors, all of which came early in that first set. She has been up to the task, no doubt, stepping into the big shoes, or I guess footprints, of Tony Rodriguez. Here we go, 0-0, set number 3 for the win. We'll play to 15, win by 2, no cap. Down the line, Cannon is good for the first point.
Crisp line shot from Therese.
We play to 15 here in set number 3, Megan.
And by no cap, you mean on the score, not that you're not lying, according to young person parlance.
Thank you, Rich, for being up on all things social. Kraft with the ace this time. That'll be the third for LA.
Yeah, she's got a little bit of dance to that serve. We had a great vantage point from our booth up here, Kev. That thing was just wobbling in the air. Tim Wakefield knuckleball.
Nice. A little bit more recent than Candiotti.
Phil Necro.
Rich Lamborn showing his age there. You can't get an R.A. Dickey in there somewhere, buddy? All right, LA dominant early with Kraft at the service line. You know, she switched to the defender position. Her college bio listed Phil Dahlhauser and Andres Moll her heroes. I think it's time to update that. You got to go April Ross, Nina Brunner are her updated, and now whoever is putting the serve through the cable and down.
Yeah, second ace out of 4 points played, and an excellent start for the LA launch here in the third.
Yeah, you'll take it at 4-0.
All right, everybody,
It's the old insult to injury serve that just crawls over the tape.
All right, who's rooting here in set number 3 for the San Diego Smash? Yes, very nice, very nice. Who's rooting for the LA Launch?
That is a well-balanced score line, as we see Coach Mike Playchek kind of laying it out for his ladies there. 9 kills, 7 digs, and 4 aces from Megan Kraft.
Playcheck from down North County, San Diego area. Meg Kraft from San Diego. Therese Cannon up in LA. Spends a lot of time down in San Diego. Said that the Kraft family has really done a nice job of helping her Kraft community. She's down there about half the week, and they've really taken her in. That's made a big difference for her game.
Yeah, Mike over at Wave Beach, just kind of right behind the racetrack there in Del Mar.
Yeah, partially adopted Cannon. No word on a name change. Also a part of the USAV system now. Therese Cannon and Meg Kraft, actually the genesis of that. Coming with Scott Davenport, with whom they were working. Scott took that job, but paired them up right before he ended up with USA Volleyball. So watching this partnership that he dreamed up really blossom here. Cannon with a late move and picks up a stop.
Yeah, there's a nice look at that beach-style timing, right? Because Gina kind of already hit that ball before Therese left her feet, reading a little bit of an off-speed shot. Have a look. Yeah, really good job. And you know, the way Coach Tyler Hildebrand used to say it is that your arms are the fastest part of the chain, so you can kind of wait, and speed up those arms pretty quickly, as we saw Therese do there.
All right, well, the dream start of 5-0. It can't be just Dallas that gets these dream starts. Ends there with the side out for San Diego. 4 aces already in this match for Kraft.
Yeah, again, that's such a hard play to stop, because you don't expect the right sider to go after that option. Megan really proactive with that swing.
We're at 6-1, and Therese Cannon gets her first shot at serving here in the third. Newberry taking control of that one. Kraft is right there. Newberry stepping close to her partner and chipping it over the top of Cannon.
A nice job from Megan Therese to extend that rally, but good patience as well from the San Diego Smash to just kind of take that free ball, put it away relatively smoothly and easily.
First set, 15-13 launch. Second set, the smash win going away 15-10. And LA opened with no momentum and took it all. As a smooth side out there from Therese Cannon finds the sand. They opened 5-0, and now it is 7-2.
A good width on that set. I like that little push wide to Therese because she's got such a good angle swing that you have to respect it, especially from that contact point near the pin, that it opens up that little line shot for her if she sees you in the angle.
Oh, that ball left tight. Gina having to deal with it. Opportunity for LA. This one will have to go. Nice high one. There's a pulling dig. From both sides. Cannon now. Blocked!
Inadvertently, Newberry's foot dragged that sideline wide. I don't think it affected the play, but it was comical at the very least, I guess.
The alteration.
Yeah.
Fifth block.
Have a look. That is tremendous pull dig after the one we saw right before that from Newberry, and that right there, good handwork again for the block. Devin Newberry.
Newberry with the wonderful debut here. 14 kills, 5 blocks, and 2 controls. And that's a season high in a match. And that's league-wide. That ties the season high of 5 blocks in a single match. Way to show up, Devin.
Yeah. Quite the debutante.
8-3.
Yeah, again, a good aggressive swing on an option ball from Meg Kraft. Just making good choices out there.
Side switch, although no advantage probably here on the side switch. Background's about the same. This will be run a little bit to the middle for Urango, who's right to Kraft. Opportunity, LA. Taken.
That was good defensive setup from the launch that time. As that set got wide, Therese just got right in front of the line. Makes it tough for Gina to kind of wrap it over her, and is just sort of forced to swing into that angle, which Meg was sitting in perfectly.
In a good spot right now, LA. San Diego looking for something. That might be the start. 9-4.
Yeah, again, Newberry has just settled into a nice offensive rhythm. Relatively untouchable since kind of the early stages of this match.
Gina to the jump serve. Looking for that sideline. Cannon with the pass. Kind of an inside out look there and harder to the ankle.
Yeah, she's all the way out by the pin there, and so she puts the thumb down a little extra on that one. Slices it extra sharp, which is a necessity because we've seen Gina scoop those angle swings already in this match several times.
Back to that short deep game. Short on Newberry. Pulling as well, and she puts it away.
She's combated that quite well, passing the ball well first, and then you could see her work hard to get that length in her approach, so she had a little momentum going into that swing.
You bring up a good point about playing against Gina Urango. I might be inclined to swing more because of Gina's range as a defender. If I slice it into the angle, she has a shot. If I hit it in the angle, her timing is much less.
I agree with you there, and that's always kind of an argument for being more towards the aggressive side offensively. You just have to make sure that you don't go into the, what our colleague Casey Patterson calls the JV angle zone.
Yeah, and you don't want to find the blocker as the men look on. Hagen Smith, Logan Weber, also undefeated. Part of that 4-0 record that LA brings into their home matchup here.
Yeah.
That ball is just long. LA looking good to remain undefeated here on the women's side.
Yeah, especially in these shorter sets, you know, they're a lot closer to the finish line than they might be ordinarily.
4 away. Cannon will go behind. Way too tight to the net. Newberry, back set. Urango converts one.
And I don't know if we've seen Newberry lose a joust tonight. That one she put on the side of the LA launch. At the very least, she's been able to kind of pull that onto her side and get a second contact out of it. So doing a really good job on those pretty difficult, tight sets.
See if she can pick up a touch or a channel here. Channels, but that ball is high and deep. That's how you do it.
One of the many reasons you don't see Meg get a lot of serves. You called it her military style work ethic.
Yes.
Paying dividends here.
Newberry all the way to the outside, and she'll go sharp as well. There have been some good highlights in this one.
Yeah, the firepower is impressive. We heard Cam talk about Coach Benson chronicling the depth of the sand and it being a little jumpy. That works both ways as Newberry teeing off on balls.
Work remains here. They've scored a couple to be within 4. They're going to need a bunch here down the stretch. Down the line, that's not going to do it. Cannon again with a nice side out. Therese Cannon, her numbers here in this third set have been important for her side.
That's not a bad defensive setup from the smash. It's just that's kind of the antidote for that particular defense that Therese kind of slaps the ball down the line.
Oh, and sneaks one over in the service. That's 2 of those in this set. The equipment is ever not in the favor of San Diego here. Match point to LA.
Therese saying, Utah, give me 2.
For the win. Quick tempo back set, dug up, Kraft. Swing for it and that'll do.
What a defensive play from Megan Kraft. On the move, just kind of kept those shoulders square to the attacker. Got that scoop and the put away. What a tremendous third set there from the LA launch.
What to do when you don't have the momentum headed into a third and decisive set? Grab it and take it from the start. A 5-0 open ends up being unrecoverable for San Diego against LA.
Yeah, one extra check of the net height so you can get those trickle aces to go your way, and you get the job done.
The LA launch stay undefeated, this time in 3 sets. They control the third and their own destiny. We'll be back from LA with more. This is just match 1 of 8 on the weekend.
Stop dreaming.
Well, we got a little more than 10 minutes until our next match. Headed up toward the concourse right now, your LA Live.